and welcome to Twin Sister, Twin Sister. It's a podcast about four very different women who just happen to be sisters. We're on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Spotify as Twin Sister, Twin Sister. And you can tweet us your questions at Twin Sister Pod with the hashtags #TSTS do both of them, #Twin Sister. You can also email us at twinsistertwinsister@gmail.com. And go ahead and leave us a review. It helps other listeners find us. We mainly check the Apple Podcast reviews, so that would be great, but anywhere else is also great. Please feel free to subscribe to us on all of those platforms so you can get notified every time we launch a new one. And now let's have everyone say your name so the listeners can recognize our voices. I'm Amy. I'm hosting this episode.
I'm Jenny. I'm her twin.
I'm Angela. I'm number 3.
Hi, I'm Amanda, and I like warm hugs.
Very, very nice. Now, today's topic is comes with a little bit of sad news. Our grandmother on our father's side passed away recently, and we wanted to have a podcast where we just dedicated all of our stories, memories, and good thoughts to our Mema, aka Norma Vorpahl. And so we're going to go through and just kind of tell everybody just some memories that we have of her, and do our darndest to leave behind just a little bit of something after everything she's done for us. So if anyone wants to launch this off with some stories, feel free to jump on in here.
Angela and I were talking last Friday night. Sorry, Amanda.
No, it's okay. This happened last night. I had a dream about her.
What? Ooh,
yeah.
Tell us.
It was
a sex dream.
Ew, gross.
Amy.
So weird. No, she was still alive.
You didn't say. Okay.
And great. And
it wasn't zombie Mema.
No, she was still alive, and we were basically having her funeral, but she wanted to be a part of it first, or like she wanted us to have her funeral before she died so that she could like party with us.
Oh, that's a mood.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And so basically we just had like this really big party, and everyone basically just like said nice things about her while she sat in the audience and listened.
That is not the worst idea ever.
Yeah, and we had like cake and stuff, and she was like with it a little physically more than she was near the end of her life. And we just like danced and
the great news
time
about Mema is she did pass at the age of 92, and she was mentally with us the entire time.
That was great.
Which is quite a blessing. And then which of you? I think only 2 of us were able to actually attend.
Yeah, Amanda and I were able to go.
Jenny and Amanda. What was that like?
It was good. It was good to see everyone. I was able to go to the rosary the night before. So they had the rosary on Thursday night, and then they had the funeral mass on Friday afternoon. And that was really cool because at the rosary that's when they did all the eulogies. And so 2 of the grandchildren had eulogies, which I thought was really cool. One was from Leslie, so she wasn't able to be there because she was out of the country. And hers was awesome. And then Maddie, our cousin, also said it. And I just thought it was cool because listening to it from their perspective, like they experienced the same Mema we had. Like it was the same.
It was cool.
They remembered all of the same things that I remembered, like dancing. Amanda.
Hey,
no, she can say whatever she wants. Jeez.
Okay, fine. Go ahead.
Weird.
Well, and Amanda, like when you and the younger grandchildren would all dress up and perform, I don't know, dress up plays. Like Maddie totally remembered that. Like, I think that was
not remember that. I think that was one generation behind us.
And all
That
of
is-
Mema's like snap-on earrings, like all of
she
I
her
remember
costume
the-
jewelry.
the best collection of costume jewelry. She had the earrings, the necklaces, her brooches were out of this world,
Her brooches.
and
I remember that.
scarves and
She had
stuff.
an old Barbie collection too.
Yeah,
like
well, and it was
old,
Jerry and
old.
Peggy's. It was our aunts.
Ah,
We used to play with those.
Yeah,
Yeah, but we would
so
just get
cool.
dressed up in all of her old
1960s
dresses
Barbies.
and stuff, and put on skits.
Yeah,
That's
So it
cool.
was really
she was
fun.
like always there with a
You were
video
able to-
camera. Just
you were able to record video of some of the eulogies, and that was just really touching. Our dad
Yeah.
wrote one, and he was a little too emotional to read it, but it was so touching to hear what his relationship was with his mom, and some of it I just didn't know
Yeah.
how much. Yeah, of course, I mean, she's his mom, but yeah, she really meant a lot to him, and that was nice to hear.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was a super great woman. And I'll jump off because I actually have 2 stories, you guys. So I might be stealing Jenny's. I can't remember which one you wanted to tell. But I have to say, so as a little kid, and kind of what you were touching on before, but like when we got to go to Mema's house, it was really exciting. It was basically a little kid's amusement park dream house. Like her house was so special. And starting with the food. Okay, number one, obviously.
Angela
amazing.
remembers
She
the food.
always had amazing food. She had like these little tiny crystal bowls, and they were always filled with like peanut M&Ms.
Peanut M&Ms,
and-
Whoppers.
Yeah. Whoppers,
little sugar
corn nuts.
candies with the stuff on top. You know what I'm talking
Gumdrops?
about?
Mike and Oh, she had
No, they were like
Gumdrop
colorful
Tree.
mints, and they had the white dots
Oh,
on them.
yeah. Yeah,
Whatever
just
those
like the
were.
kisses, the mint kisses.
Yeah, they
looking
were like
things.
mint kisses, sort of. Is
Yeah. What?
And
Oh,
and she had a
nonpareils.
that what they are?
Oh, I know what you're talking about, but I
She
don't.
always
I don't
had
know.
those. Those are the only time I ever got those.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
had
what-
so much,
She had
such a
so much
variety. I think she introduced me to most of the snack food that I know today.
Yeah, it was so cool. And then she had this refrigerator in the back, and it was always full of soda, which we weren't allowed to
Soda,
have
yeah.
that much of. So we always got to go and get a soda. She
That's
always had
right.
ice
was
cream in the
so fun.
freezer.
Oh, there was always ice cream.
And it was always Bluebell. I told Angela, I remember Bluebell, and I associated it with Mima just because.
And we were allowed to eat it after our parents went to sleep. It was so scandalous.
Mm-hmm,
Like our parents
so
would
that
go
was
to bed, and then she'd be like, "Y'all want some ice cream?" I'd be like, "Hell yeah, we want some ice cream."
great. So like that was the kitchen area. And then also as we got older, she would always make a shrimp cocktail for New Year's Eve, which was phenomenal.
Yeah, I was never a fan of shrimp cocktail, but she did do that.
Oh
She
my gosh,
did
it's
have a lot of shrimp
so
cocktail.
good.
It was
so
so
much
good.
shrimp cocktail.
Also
yeah.
pecans, because she had pecan trees.
She had
Yeah.
a big old pecan tree in her backyard.
There's always tons and
Yep.
tons and tons of pecan nuts.
Yeah. So kitchen area, back room area with the secret snacks. And then you had outside, you had the backyard, which had the huge pecan tree, and it also had a swing set out there, and it had a
Yeah.
sandbox out there.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and a little
That was
golden
cool.
retriever.
Yeah,
And a
Taffy.
golden
And a dog.
retriever.
Taffy.
Mhm. So that was super fun. And then I think we probably had an above ground pool occasionally as
No.
well.
I don't remember that.
That
don't
didn't
could be-
Oh,
happen.
you mean a
I
blow
could be, yeah, like a blow up pool.
Oh, I
Yeah.
remember that.
I don't remember that. Anyway.
Okay. So that was backyard. And then you had the creme de la creme, which was the living room. And the living room had every book you can imagine, every board game you can imagine.
Oh,
Tiddlywinks.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys
Puzzles.
remember Tiddlywinks,
Yes.
Puzzle. Candyland, and Trouble.
I
Minus the
remember
puzzle.
the cooties
cherry
game where you
pickers.
had to put
And
together the
big-
cookies.
the big bucket of crayons. The big bucket of crayons.
Oh, she had awesome crayons. Yeah. Super fun. And then she had that big black beanbag that you could like run and jump
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I dropped a baby once on that beanbag.
Like
Was it
a-
me?
Yeah, was it
No,
Amanda?
it was someone else's baby. It started crying and it spooked me. And I think I was a little bit too young to know what to do with a crying baby.
oh, so you dropped it.
I think I
Interesting.
think
Was it Leslie?
No, it was. I don't think I'll ever meet. I don't know. I don't know if I'll
I
ever.
wasn't related to this baby, so
I don't know. I just remember I remember feeling extremely ashamed and embarrassed.
Oh,
Good.
Yeah.
You should
I
have.
remember.
That
You
was the
remember she
correct
had the
emotion.
Rainbow Bright books.
Yes, Rainbow
Yes.
Bright.
Oh, I wanted to
Amazing
be
Rainbow
Rainbow Bright
Bright.
so bad.
Yeah, I did
That
I
was
too.
just
actually
remember her
the
that
Halloween
book.
costume
That's a song. It
for
was
this year.
like one mother toad and her little toady one. Croak said the mother, we croak said the one, and they croaked and they something in the willow in the sun or something. Like it was a book, but it was a song.
Oh,
That's
Y'all
cool.
cute.
don't remember this? That's like I
No.
would read it
I
every night before bed.
Mandy, you're 5 years
vaguely
younger
remember
than all of us.
vaguely.
5 years cooler.
And then you weren't even born yet. And then she had the lamp that you touched and it changed intensity. Do you remember that?
I
Yes,
remember.
I do.
Do y'all remember that one Christmas when we went to visit her and she had presents for all of us, but they had already done their big Christmas, so there was just the presents left for us under the tree, and we all went through and we were
Ooh.
unwrapping the gifts, and for whatever reason, like I didn't get a gift, and I just was being very. It was like I don't know, I was in 8th grade or something, but we waited and everyone got 2 or 3 gifts, but I got none kind of thing. And I was just like waiting, being very patient. And I didn't want to say anything because I was like, maybe she forgot. And I don't want to make her feel bad. But what
Aw.
ended up happening was she had gotten me something in this garbage bag that was next to the tree. And she gave me this garbage bag and I opened it and it was the big black stuffed animal dog that I
Oh,
have
that's
now.
where you
She
got
just didn't have a
that.
big enough bag for it, so she put it in a garbage bag, and I was like, it's not a present. Like, anyway.
Yeah, no one thought.
I remember that.
I do remember that. Well, that's the thing is she always like she had what 12 grandchildren?
More than that, 14.
At least.
14?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And she had Wall-O grandchildren. Do you guys remember that
Yeah.
on the back of
Yeah,
the
all of
TV?
us had
Yeah,
our
in the
headshots
hallway.
up
Everyone
there.
had their picture.
Oh,
She
yeah.
remembered all of our birthdays all the time. Like you could count on getting a card at the very least.
Tell us more, Amy,
What do you mean?
in the Google
She
Doc.
gave us in
Oh,
the Google
yes,
Doc.
that's my story. But for Christmas and for your birthday, you always got a present from Mema. And
Yeah.
the one story that like to this day it's really funny. I'll always remember I got a card from Mema on my 18th birthday, and it was, happy birthday. It did include a check, and then in the writing, but in the like card itself, she had written, happy 18th birthday, Amy. When I was your age, I already had 2 men propose to me, and love Mema, and it was like. Like there was
She's
very
like, mic
there was
drop.
very little
Yeah.
substance. Like there might have been one other sentence like have a great day, or just whatever, but the entire the meaning of this card, the purpose of it was I know she meant to like connect with me, like, oh, you're 18, I was once 18, here's what was going on in my life when I was 18, but the way it read was very much like,
What have you done lately?
And it just always struck me as funny, and I guess like by the end of it, I remember there was one. Well, not by the end, but like later on in life, I do remember there was one Christmas where all of us grandkids were and most of us are girls. Of those 14, I think only 3 are boys, but yeah, there are a lot of women. So we were all going around comparing notes, and Mima had kind of asked each one of us, when are you getting married? 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 And I was like, she didn't ask me.
Lost cause. Lost
Yeah.
cause.
No, she didn't. Yeah, she didn't think that. No, I don't know. Maybe I just.
But man, do you remember like how Mima, like she came to my football games when I was in marching band? She came to Angela's volleyball games. Amy, she came to like all of your plays.
All of my plays. Yeah, she was there.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
a
it
lot
was
of pictures
so
with her,
cool.
with flowers
At
and everything.
UIL or just at the school.
Oh, she was so interested in my acting. It was really, really cool.
Yeah, but it wasn't just, it was all 14 of us. She would go to Leslie's basketball games and Travis's football games and just everyone's stuff.
Events,
It was so cool. Yeah, she
Yeah.
loved it.
She was
Speaking of
really into games.
Yes.
Yes.
Playing
Yeah.
and especially winning.
We can all,
card
we can all
games.
point directly to how we
Oh yeah, she taught us all how to shuffle cards, how to deal
Yep.
cards, how to
dice games, card games,
Proper card
etiquette.
etiquette, yes.
Pachisi. How to be a bad sport at games too.
How
Definitely
to
taught us
win
that.
at all costs.
Yep.
And if
Robert,
you're losing, pout so that people will feel bad and maybe let you.
That's right. She played the
Cheat
I'm
if you
older
must.
card, I'm so weak card. I will stand directly over the horseshoe card and drop the horseshoe on the ground because I can't possibly
Okay.
throw it.
When I graduated high school, she bought me a MacBook Pro for graduation.
Dang.
Yeah. And that's when these were like the new thing on the block. And I'm using it right now. This is the same one. But
Wow.
yeah, so when she went to buy it, they weren't like officially out yet, and so she was like talking to the guy, and she wanted the best laptop they had for me to go to college with. And I think she got like $400 off because she played the I'm an old lady and I don't know what I'm talking about card, and she was just like, oh well, what does that one come with? And oh well, that sounds really good, can we get that on this one? And just like hamming it up so hard
No,
to
it's
get like,
good.
and the whole,
Definitely.
it's like she knew exactly what she was doing. She never lost a step mentally, and so I just thought
Yeah, that's awesome. Mema.
Well,
She's very clever. Clever lady.
I mean, on top of that card thing, the one thing, I mean, when I was talking about her to my friends, and what I said, the one thing that came to mind just so clearly was, expressed a little bit in the card that she wrote to me, but she was a romantic for sure. And I just remembered that her husband, our grandpa Papa, he passed away when we were 3, so he's been gone for 30 years, but she just, she was all in on him, like
Yeah.
still all the time. I don't think she ever dated, at least not that I knew of, but it was always lucky every year celebrate his birthday. And this is, we're talking 30 years, and it wasn't, she was, asexual or like didn't want to. I think she just was always just full on in love with him,
Yeah.
and the
it
story
was always so sweet to hear her talk about how they met and got
well,
together and all that.
yeah, I'll tell that. There were 2 men who proposed to her, and one of them was our grandfather, and the other one was someone, I don't even know his name.
Someone else.
Someone else, but she was definitely being pursued by both people, and this guy was, I think, a doctor and like very high ranking in the community, that kind of person. And then Lucky was just not just a normal guy, and
Salesman.
yeah, he wound up being a door-to-door salesman. And but the doctor, I think, at one point said, well, if you marry Lucky, you're just going to be a wife at home with a bunch of kids
And
and
white picket fence.
a white picket fence. And she would always go, and that's what happened. And like, I think
Yeah,
that
but
was
she loved it.
part of Dad's speech maybe. But what I will say is she prayed about which one she was meant to marry. And she was very specific in her prayer and didn't leave any room for God or angels to get it wrong, because she said it was
Send me the answer with the black
rose.
rose.
send me the answer with a black rose,
A long stem black rose.
long stem black rose.
Barely budding.
And she
Are you
didn't
serious?
she didn't tell anybody this. She just said it in her head, in her prayers. And there was one date where Lucky picked her up with a black rose, and it just always, that story sent a shiver down my spine. And she was like, great, now I know it's him. And it was him, and it always was him. And it was him until she passed. So that's kind of, I just think that's so romantic.
So romantic.
It really is.
I never got to meet Papa.
Oh,
He
that's
died before I was born.
But you have his initials, Amanda.
Yeah.
I do.
So he was actually Alfred Herman Vorpahl, and
Which is
Amanda.
why everyone called him Lucky.
Yeah.
Or Rosie.
They called him Lucky because of games, because of
Yeah, they called him Rosie. They called him Sunny.
No,
They
they
didn't
called
call him
Sunny.
Sunny.
Sunny was
Okay,
someone else.
Rosie.
It was
Sorry, Lucky.
Rosie and Lucky.
Rosie because of red cheeks, but Lucky because he just couldn't lose.
Yep.
Angela's got that luck.
Except for his heart to Mema.
Aww. But Mema also was very lucky. We had a running joke that if she entered a drawing or a raffle of any kind, you may as well just give up now because she was going
Dad
to win.
also the same way. He just wins.
Yeah. Well, Dad's
he
got
would
his own little.
constantly win things. Constantly.
Dad's
like
got a
jewelry,
strategy.
tickets.
Well, I use that strategy and it does not work for me.
It's worked a couple times for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Only when I'm allowed to be there physically in person,
right.
Of course.
Exactly. That's how that works.
But the card playing thing, I will say, is pretty amazing because it is definitely a dying art with our generation.
I would say that is definitely part of her legacy, right?
Absolutely.
1,000%. We learn. I mean, spades, hearts, poker, rat shit, pounce. Those are the ones I remember.
Yeah, Go Fish. When we were
poker,
we did
bridge, Old Maid,
gin, Old Maid,
Crazy Eights.
Crazy Eights. Oh yeah, gin rummy, war.
Yeah.
We didn't play. We never. We haven't learned how to play bridge because that is the ultimate. And Peggy's learning.
She wouldn't teach
the rest of us. No, because it's really involved, and like everybody has to be a really good card player who's playing. And I don't think she wanted to suffer.
She did not have the patience.
Yeah.
Robert even remembers when he was playing spades and he was brought in like new to the family, and Mema was pissed that she got paired with him because she didn't.
Oh, she's been mad on several occasions.
If she's not with the best spades player available or dominoes, whichever game is playing,
you are not allowed. You're not allowed a single mistake.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She'd be like, "Why didn't you trump?"
Exactly. You better be counting cards. You better be amazing.
You knew the 8 was gone. Who's counting down the 8?
Cool. Yeah, and it's really cool because now I'm sure you guys are the same way, but I've like taught friends over the years, or especially when you're traveling, it's a perfect way to pass time and have fun. And for our family, we have, I mean, at least me personally, but I think a lot of it has been in recent years, we haven't been playing as much cards because we tend to be a really competitive family, and we found that non-competitive sort of communal games where everybody wins or loses, cooperative games works much better for us.
I miss spades.
But I miss spades. I was just playing it. I just went on a vacation with a couple friends. And I was teaching them, and I actively missed it because I remember I was like, I could play this all night. I could stay up till 8 a.m.
Angela, do you remember you and I once had a running, it was over the summer, and we had a running gin game every night, and we had it recorded. Yes. It was one summer that we kept winning and losing points, but we would play every night for like 3 hours until 3 a.m. or whatever. Yeah. In the laundry room, hide from everybody.
I remember that. I don't know what
you
summer
played
that was,
it in the laundry room.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why we were hiding. I guess we were up late and we weren't supposed to be or something. But yeah, I think she was beating me by like thousands of points, and I was like, best of 7.
No, I think it got evened out a bunch of times. But we did get into the thousands for sure. But it was into the thousands. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But I do want to bring back spades because that game is amazing, and it's a rush every single time you play it. And now
Amanda, I want to hear your story.
Okay.
Thanks,
so when we were, so I'm part of the cousins. I'm part of the little girl group. So I'm one of
you're the little girls.
I'm the third youngest grandkid, and so the bottom 4 of us would always hang out together. We were the youngest, and then there's like an age gap.
Leslie, and Stephanie.
And then there's a bit of an age gap, and then it's you 3, Travis, Ryan, Casey, that whole group.
Well, Maddie, I would say Maddie, Angela,
and then there was another age break, and then it was
Jamie and Chauvin.
Yeah. Anyway, so
and Todd.
Todd was Angela, whatever. Todd was Angela's age.
Well, who are we missing? Ryan, Taylor.
So Ryan, Travis. Maddie, me and Todd and Travis were kind of the middle.
Yeah.
And then you, Amy, Jenny, Amy, Casey,
and
That's
Todd.
it.
And
Todd.
Jamie, kind of.
Todd
Todd
is
was my age.
Well, you're only 15 months younger. Like,
you guys were a different generation, okay?
The point is, we had like a 4 or 5 year gap. Anyway,
yes.
so the young girls, and so when we were real little, Mema she would play spoons with us, which is not her typical game because it's not very strategic in nature. But we were little and she wanted to play with us, and it's a card game, so I guess it counted close enough for her. And so she taught all of us spoons. The thing about spoons is you can't be good at spoons. It's just a luck-based game.
You can cheat.
You can. But Mima was so good at spoons. She won every single time. The way she would grab a spoon from the center, she did it in a way where nobody noticed for upwards of 10 minutes. So by the time someone went to like reach and like triumphantly grab one, we legitimately would think we didn't have enough spoons, and we were like, wait, but there's not enough, there's 2 less, there's only supposed to be 1 less, where'd the other one go? And she'd just be sitting there with her spoon. She's like, I've had this for eons. And she had, every time she would steal it so secretly no one would ever know. And when
champion boss spirit.
She was so good. And when people were telling stories at the funeral, one that I remembered was one, I can't remember why we were in San Antonio or what we were doing, but a small subset of us were all going to go out to lunch, and it was like me and Mom and Donnie and Dad
Hakalas.
and Mima, and we all went to Hakalas, but it wasn't a big group. It was only like 6 people. And so we all went, and I think the idea was, oh, Dad's going to take us all to lunch for some reason. So we're at Hakalas, we eat, it's great. The check comes, the guy sets it down next to Dad, and before anyone notices, she sneaks it off the side of the table, and she's holding the check, and at the very last second Dad notices and he grabs it, and they are literally playing tug of war and he's like, Mima, give it to me, and she's like, it's mine. And she finally ends up winning, and Dad's just like, I don't know how she did that. And I was like, spoons, man. You gotta watch out for
skills with a Z.
She'll get you
she's
every
the reason
time.
we all got together with our cousins and even had like knew them very well, because she would pay for a big house, kind of resort type thing that, you know,
I called it the party house because it would bed like 30 people.
Yeah, but it was never the same house twice, but we would call it the party house in Hill Country in Texas, and it was just a place for everyone to really just eat, drink, play games together, stay up real late, and the end, you know? But I guess it'd be some version of a family reunion, but it was really a way to keep in touch with.
It was the best.
That was like 10-15 years. Best. I mean, that's why we have relationships as strong as we do with our cousins and aunts and uncles. 100%.
Yeah. And that's where we would play all those games, cultivate our skill.
Which we carry forward to this day, whether it's cards or just board games and stuff. Yeah.
Because I don't know about you guys, but the people out in the world who you would play cards or games with are not the same caliber as the Vorpahl clan.
Well, it's not fair, right? Because I was teaching some friends how to play spades. Like, you're so good. I was like, I have been playing for 30 years. Like, you were it's not fair. You know, like, we know all of the strategies. We know everything you're supposed to read on card. Like, and we, of course, wouldn't have if we weren't taught by the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And convinced constantly by our father.
Our best includes our dad, for sure.
Jenny, did you have a story?
I think I said some already.
Well, there was one. I think you had one. I mean, you wrote down Walt Disney World with kids.
She came with us to Walt Disney World. She vacationed with us a lot.
Yeah,
totally did.
Yeah, she came with us to the beach. She came with us.
That's right.
Whenever there was
specifically
a
to Walt
ride
Disney
that was
World.
too scary, like that I couldn't go on because it was too scary, she would sit out with me.
I remember going to Alien with her, which was a poor choice on my end. And it was one of those ones where like you sit in the chair and you can feel spray on your neck and on your legs, and they've got the little like thingies, and you can hear the alien moving around in the dark, and it was scary AF. And she sat right next to me and screamed with me and held my hand.
It's so funny that you mentioned that ride because I 1000% remember that ride because it wasn't like a roller coaster, but that was probably the first scary ride, quote unquote, that I ever been
It was
on.
terrifying.
I was terrified.
Yes.
And it was just sound. It was just like sounds and like you said, like air and stuff to simulate what if an alien were there. And I lost my mother effing mind. And I was just
it was so scary.
Like claw to the two people next to me.
And she was there with us. It's funny too because I mentioned that to Maddie at the funeral, and she also remembers that ride because I think Mema had gone with her and her family that same year.
Man.
And
Mema's
she
just
remembered Mema coming
piggybacking
with
on
her
all
on
the
that
Disney
one.
World.
Ugh,
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. Just have a bunch of grandkids and go with them.
Well, and also speaking of traveling, she also came to Malaysia and like rode on the back of an elephant.
That's right.
Not that you should do that anymore.
Taiwan?
But at the time, it was okay.
Thailand.
In Thailand, yeah. So they came to Malaysia and then we went to Thailand and with like 4 little girls and just like trekking it in the jungle.
Yeah.
So that was super cool.
That was cool.
She was a badass.
She really went everywhere. She did all the things with us. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. And
do we remember the Shackley shakes that she the protein shakes that she made and shoved down my throat? I don't know why, but I always got twice as much as everyone, and I'd constantly be like, "Mom, why do I have to drink this?" And she would always give me more because I would have been born, a little bit smaller than everyone. She's like, "You just need to drink more protein," and I'm like, "Please make it stop."
So funny.
Yeah, man. But they are all like she sold Shackley vitamins forever, and
that was her business. I mean, she's the OG on MLMs. Like she did it.
And all of our parents and aunts and uncles take these Shackley vitamins like 12 a day, and
in one fistful, like
one fistful.
Yeah.
I've learned how
don't even need water.
I learned how to do that too.
I did too.
Yes, because you were like, well, I don't want to
6 horse pills.
Yeah, I don't want to take. I don't want to make this take any longer than it has.
And then you had to eat breakfast because if you didn't, you would be nauseous all day long because that shit was.
Yes, you would.
I definitely took the opposite approach and just complained ad nauseum until they stopped making me take them.
Well, they would send them to me in college and stuff, and I would just rack them. I stopped taking them. So at one point they would start. I had 6 bottles and they'd all expire. Sorry, guys. Because they were expensive.
Those are expensive.
Nice. They're really expensive. I didn't know that till later.
So ungrateful.
You're like, I'm just not taking these.
Angela, that was me too, man. That was me too.
It's too much.
If there's anything else, closing thoughts that you have for Mema, get him in.
Yeah, I have a story. Well, I have a quick story.
Okay.
Yeah, because when I was working at the Texas Capitol, we had lobbyists coming by all the time. And at one point, one lobbyist had box tickets to the Spurs game, and everybody else in the office passed because I was the junior intern or whatever. And so they gave me the tickets, and it was 2 tickets. I'm like, who am I going to take to a Spurs game? Mema. And so I called Mema up, and she was my date to the Spurs game. And we go into this box, and it's like lobbyists and like other legislative everybody's like all dressed up and fancy, and I'm like, Mema! And we got to the front because Mema does not like sitting behind tall people because she's tiny. And so we were all
and she'll play it. She'll do it, man. She would never take a back seat.
No. So yeah, we rocked it on the Spurs game.
Excuse me.
So freaking cute. But yeah, she was down,
awesome.
Man. She was a yes person for sure.
Yeah, she did all the things. She really did. And she loved us all so very much. She was very
lucky.
Very, very loving. Very, very family oriented, family focused.
Yep.
Enormous family values.
And
with that, Mema, we love you.
We love you, Mema.
We love you, Mema.
Love you.
You influenced us all in very, very good ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And with that, this has been the Twin Sister podcast dedicated to our grandmother, Mema.
Mema Vorpahl.
Mema Vorpahl.
So we are on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Spotify as Twin Sister, Twin Sister. And you can go ahead and tweet us your questions at Twin Sister Pod with the hashtags TSTS and hashtag Twin Sister. Or you can also email us at twinsistertwinsister@gmail.com. This podcast is edited by Jenny Cronlund, and the mixing and the theme music is by Maxie Morales. So leave us a review on Apple Podcasts if you don't mind. It helps listeners find us, and it helps us feel really good about ourselves. Thanks for the touching and earnest podcast, everybody. I love you.
Love you.
Bye, guys. Love you.
Bye.
Nice.